Kicking It again, and I am very excited to have an actor that you guys have seen. He is so amazing and one of the most humble spirits, man. I got to tell you that. This actor is none other than Mr. Shawn Carter Peterson. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you.
All right, yeah,
Thank
it's
you for
good to
having
see
me.
you. What are you talking about, man? It's just great to have you. You are amazing, man. We actually met like at an audition,
Yep.
and I was getting ready to be stranded at a bus stop, and you said, "I'll help you out, brother. I'll help you out, brother."
Yeah, man, I know that ride, man. I've caught the bus in LA, so I know you can get a ride across the hill. Definitely take it.
Oh man, well let me just tell you, we've seen you on hour-long dramas, we've seen you on comedies, we've seen you on The Shield, we've seen you on How I Met Your Mother, we've seen you on It's Hot and Clip, all these different shows, and even right now, I just even told you, I said, man, did I just not see you in this McDonald's commercial? Tell us a little bit about your career. But before you do that, tell us a little bit about where you're from. I know where you're from, but tell us where you're from, and then what was it like to make that transition to leaving there and actually coming to LA?
Well, I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland.
Yes.
I went to Vassar College, so I studied theater in college.
Oh.
And I went back home for maybe like just under a year, and I decided to move out here and actually drove from Baltimore to Los Angeles with my best friend and a friend of hers. We drove out, we took a week, had a nice, really like a great road trip.
Awesome.
One of the best of my life, but yeah, it was one of those like, I'm moving west, let's take our time because we'll be there for a while.
I like that.
Yeah, man. So it was great. And I drove out in my grandmother's car. She passed away. She left me her car. So it was one of those like I had a car, I had a place to stay, I had maybe $1,000 in the bank, maybe.
Oh. So you had been saving up for the trip?
I had saved up a little bit for the trip. I was waiting tables back in Baltimore, Fells Point, at a restaurant called the Black Olive, and was just trying to come out here and follow my passion.
Are they still there?
The Black Olive? Yes, they are. Yes,
Shout
they
out.
are. The Black Olive is still there. I haven't been in a while, but they are still there, and apparently they've expanded. So check them out. Fells Point.
So let me ask you this: was it a difficult decision to leave, or or you just said, "We're going"?
I was just kind of like, I'm going. I just, I think it was between New York and LA, and I was just on the fence. Most of my friends had moved to New York, so there was comfort in that. Most of my friends from college were either in graduate school or going to graduate school or living in the New York area, and coming to LA was going to be a stretch for me because I only knew about 2 or 3 people out there.
Wow.
But there was something about, I knew I wanted to do film and television, and this is where it was. So that was the choice that I made, and I'm glad I did.
Then let me ask you this: your friends that drove with you, are they still here?
They actually were just coming out for the ride.
Oh, just for the ride?
They just came out for the ride and to help break up the cost for the gas and the hotel.
Is that cool or
and
what?
the food. Yeah, it was great. I mean, they were just here like, come on, let's go, and then we fly
Are you
back.
still in contact with them?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
sweet.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's sweet. So when you moved to LA, you already you got a place, and how did you went about getting an agent? Did you get a waiting job?
I first got out here. I did get a waiting job. My very, very first job out here was at a place called the Jamaican Cafe. A woman named Wanda James and Scott Dura, who I'm really, really good friends with now. Still, after all this time, they gave me that job. I actually approached them at a 7-Eleven. At 1 o'clock in the morning, and asked them for a job because they had a truck that said the Jamaican Cafe on it, and I was like, "Well, hey, I'm looking for a job. Are you hiring?"
That's funny.
They were like, "Yeah, I don't know." And then one that gave me a card was like, "Come by the restaurant and we'll talk about it." So I went by, and we've been friends ever since.
Did you go through your savings quickly?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I was eating cantaloupe and like iced tea, and like I wasn't eating a lot because I was just kind of like excited about being out in LA. But I mean, LA is expensive and gas is expensive, and I mean, you go through that money pretty quickly.
Wow. So when you got your first agent, do you remember how you felt when you first got your first agent?
Oh, I was really, really excited. A friend of mine worked at an agency called Color Me Bright at the time. And I was looking for an agency, and she said that they were holding auditions. And she was able to hook me up with the agent and have a meeting with them, and I went in and read for them, and they took me on. And I was like, all right, like, I'm doing something.
Wow, look at you, man.
Yeah. So it was tough, but I mean, I started working right away, at least commercially.
Wow.
Which was great.
Wow, so do you remember when you got your first job?
Yes, my very first job was for the LA Times.
LA Times.
It was a local commercial for the LA Times, and what was great about it was they showed it a lot locally, and they would show it in the movie theaters before the movie.
Oh, look at that!
And so I would go to the movies, and I would see myself with people from my job, because after I stopped waiting tables, I worked as a data entry clerk for this company downtown, and people from work were like, "Yeah, I saw you in the movies." So it was like, little things that kind of let you know you're kind of like on the right path.
I love it.
Things don't pop as quickly as you want them to, but still something's popping.
Do you remember the time length that took that you got that first job?
Yes, it was within a year. Yes, it was within a year, because I started working at that company, New Energy Ventures, very early on, like that November. I got out here July 1st, and I started working there at the end of October, beginning of November, and within a year, I got that first job.
And what was the feel? Did you get the phone call? Did you just say, "Oh, thanks, agent, I got the job"? Okay.
Oh,
or did you call home? Did you?
I called home. I was on the phone with my agent, and I got the job, and then I hung up, and I was at a casting house at the time, so I was on a payphone because I didn't have a cell phone at the time. And I let out this really loud kind of like yelp. I mean, because I didn't really want to yell really loud, but I was trying to keep it in, but it just kind of came out, seeped out. So I went back into the casting room, and all these people were like, "What was that?" And then I called my dad, and called back home, and he was like, "I booked the job," and it was like, "Oh, it was a good thing."
That's amazing.
Looks like American Idol.
Yeah. Got the ticket. Yeah, that's what it felt like. That's what it
That's
felt like.
Gerard, the camera guy, trying to get in the conversation.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. I got you.
No, that's great. So, man, this is amazing. This is just good stuff. Now, you booked that job, and was it quickly that you got another one? Because I would like to know, on your acting journey, have there been periods where it's been long stretches and short stretches or something? What did you do to, if there were some long periods, how did you hang in there, or did you ever, how's it been?
Well, there are ebbs and
'Cause they wanna know.
peaks and valleys. There are. After I booked that first job, I did book something. I started to book pretty regularly,
Awesome.
so every few months I was getting something, and I was auditioning enough that would keep my mind off of trying to get off the last job, because if you keep having an audition, you have things that you need to focus on, so you don't have time to think about the big hole that you need to fill with this next job. It's always about, what do I have to do tomorrow? What do I have to do tomorrow? Which I think is a good thing. I think that whenever I've found that I've been slow on the audition tip, I've always found other things to occupy my time, because when you start to sit idle too long, it's like stagnant water. It's filthy and it's bugs. It's the same thing. It's like you got to keep it moving. You got to try to find something, whether it's find a hobby, or take a class, or take an improv class, or a singing class, or a voice class, or go to the gym, or yoga. Do something. Don't sit around, because when you sit around, you get stagnant. And stagnant water makes you sick.
Wow, so do you prefer comedy or the dramas? Or,
That's a good question. I think right now I'm preferring comedies, but that's kind of because everything I do kind of has a comedic bend to it. Even when I've been on dramas, I always kind of come off kind of funny.
okay.
Not that I'm trying to be funny, but but I would like to think of myself as a very deep Shakespearean accent, but that's not where it is right now.
Wow. Do you have an actor that might be one of your people that you really admire their work?
Yeah, there's an actor named Roger Denver Smith who I really, really enjoy his work. He's done a lot of Spike Lee movies. He was in Eve's Bayou. He was in Denzel's the movie where Denzel was the drug dealer, and he went to oh my God, what's the name of the movie? It was horrible. They went to Vietnam to get the drugs, and he was the cousin.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, Denzel got an Oscar for it. Yes.
You're not
Bad black actor.
You're not talking
moment.
about Train Day.
No, not Training Day. No, it wasn't. It was after that.
Oh.
But anyway,
We'll-
Roger's work is really, really impeccable, and he's a great stage actor too. What else? I'm trying to think. Of course, Denzel, Johnny Depp.
Oh my
I'm
God.
a big Johnny Depp fan.
Me too.
Big Johnny Depp fan. So between the three of them, I could fit in there somewhere.
Wow.
Roger, Denzel, and Johnny.
Okay, now
Shawn.
one thing about Johnny Depp is he's really one of those character actors. Do you consider yourself a character actor, or?
I do consider myself a character actor. I mean, I would like to think that I'm more of a leading man, but I'm not leading right now. I'm the funny friend. I'm the, I'm kind of the quirky black dude that's around all the time, which I'm okay with because I'm kind of quirky and I'm kind of black and I'm kind of around all the time. So
I love it. Now I know this is not. Yeah. So tell us now, because I was looking at television and suddenly here you are on this McDonald's commercial. Tell us about that because this is recent.
I just shot that 2 months ago,
Yes.
December, top of December. I went in, the guy that I did the commercial with, Franz Latten, he and I went in together. And we've known each other for a few years. We just happened to run into each other at the callback. It was like, oh, we're going in together? Cool, bet, all right. Didn't rehearse it or anything, just went into the room and just had fun. And we ended up booking the job together and we had a ball. We had a lot of fun. And it was one of those commercials that people seem to like because it's 2 black guys and 1 black guy's doing something nice for another black guy, but they're both kind of in it to win it together. So there's this camaraderie and there's a brotherhood that people are noticing and that I'm glad to be a part of it. So.
Now, when you moved out and your parents, how did they feel about you coming out pursuing your dream? Was it all supportive, or
I've always been supported. I've always been supported, whatever my dreams were. I've always been to be an actor, so that wasn't a big deal. It was more like, it was my dad's idea kind of move out here, actually.
Wow.
He was kind of like, well, what do you want to do? Because he saw me I was, waiting tables, and I was kind of just saving money, and he was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe move up to New York. And he was like, well, why don't you move to LA? And I was like, I'd gone to school for theater in New York, so theater people kind of have a thing about LA, like, LA, you know what I mean? And New Yorkers too. So I had a double hit on, the theater and the New York thing. And he was like, well, why not? Jada did it. And I'm like, Jada who? He was like, Jada Pinkett. She's from up Park Heights. And I was like, you don't even know Jada. But then I thought about it. I was like, well, it's kind of got a point. So let me call around and see who I know out there and see what's up. He was like, you could just go out there and if that's what you want to do, if you want to do film and television, go ahead. And I was thinking that he might want me to stay closer to home, but he was like, go 3,000 miles away and get your money, man.
Wow, that's amazing. That's good. Now, there are some people out there who would probably want to, maybe they in a small town, and they feel like they would like to pursue their acting career, but they are a little, what would you tell somebody?
Well, I would say first, study while you're at home first. Do some plays at your local theater, take some classes at your local school, study with the local artsy person, whoever, even if it's a very, very small town, there's gonna be somebody that knows a little something about somebody about theater. Study with them. Study locally first before you head out here, because there's a lot of people that just come out here without any sort of background in theater or film or production or anything like that, and they just want to make their way. And it's a hard way to go if you don't know anything about it. If you come out here with a little advanced knowledge of what you're getting yourself into, it's a lot easier to deal with the rejection and the long periods between jobs and so yeah, that's what I would say. Study a little bit before you come out here. I won't say don't come, but I would say don't come for only 2 years. Don't come for only 3 years. If you're coming out here, you're coming out here. Because it's not going to happen in 2 or 3 years. It does for a few. But for most of us, it takes 10 to 15 years to be an overnight success. So don't play yourself.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Now we're going to put your website right down here so everybody can see it.
Okay.
Just tell us what it is.
It's www.ShawnCarterPeterson, ShawnCarterPeterson. Shawn Carter, like Jay-Z, Peterson.
And look for him, you guys.